And our first one is from Brock, and he asks how to set clearer boundaries with my team. I need some respect for my time and distinction between our roles. So sounds like he is in the weeds, doing more than he should, and not really working on the high impact activities that as a manager and a leader would be more fruitful. So Linz, what would you, how would you answer that for Brock?
Yes, I think that, the reality is that every major disappointment is a failure to set expectations. And so I think that the reality too is that expectations are all around us. And often they're unspoken or implicit. And it sounds like Brock right now, like he's just set some implicit expectations that are just not working, right? And he might not even be aware that he's set them, but the way that he's operating is creating these implicit expectations, right? So I think the first thing is to step back and say, what expectations do I need to make explicit? What do I need to make really clear? And I think that in this situation, and we see this a lot, I think it's probably right now really about like, what is his to own and what is theirs? What is the team's to own? And I think that really taking the time to document that, to make it really explicit, to clarify it, right, can be incredibly helpful when we're trying to build resilience for ourselves and our teams. Because in times of stress and change, it is actually incredibly grounding for people to really understand what they own, like what is theirs to do and what is their managers to do. And it's not just knowing what theirs is, it's also knowing what their managers is. And so they can see sort of where that line is and they can feel supported, but they also know what is theirs. And so I think that also just gives people that sense of control. And so we've got to make expectations explicit and really be clear about what is mine as the manager to own and what is yours. And I think what often happens, and I see this a lot in coaching sessions, is those lines get blurred unintentionally because we're moving so fast. Your direct report comes to you, they've got a question, right? And you end up just kind of hopping in and you start getting really into the weeds because, you're trying to sort things out together. And all of a sudden without meaning to, you start kind of getting too in the weeds and you start doing their job for them, right? And then all of a sudden those lines get really blurred. And so again, this is going to happen. Like it's so natural. And so it's more when it does happen, it's just pulling back and just noting it and being like, hey, I realized like I just got so in the weeds. And I think we need to come back and like remind ourselves, right? Like what is yours to own? What is mine to own? And then, and just kind of keep checking in on that, right? And then I think there's like little hacks, right? Where you can be, where you can kind of communicate because it's the what is yours to own and what is mine to own. And there's the how, right? And that how might be, as simple as like, when you come to me and you've got a question or whatever, come with a solution too, right? Or let's make, the time that we really think through things in our one-on-one so that you've got a bit more boundary as well.
Yeah.
So I think number one is just make sure make those expectations explicit because the reality is there are implicit expectations and they're probably just not serving you right now. And so make it clear, document it, and then just know that you're going to end up blurring that line. And that's okay. Just name it when it happens, revisit the expectations, and then bi-directional feedback, just being like, okay, how are we doing here? Do you feel like you're supported because I'm taking that sort of higher level? And do you feel like you've got the autonomy and the ownership that you need to be able to be successful? And I think that just coming back to these fundamentals will really improve the resilience of you and your teams when just the expectations are clear.
Yeah. And we'll come back to how to set clear boundaries for yourself and your team. I think we have a question a little later on that will address that in a little bit more depth as well.